really think I have much to say, honestly, because I don't think there's much in Vancouver, but also I'm not very active in it. Um, but the last time I was, it was very like low effort, a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
people that have not done the work. And
Mm.
yeah,
What do
not
you
into.
mean when you say not done the work? Explain that. When you say people that have not done the work, what does that mean to you?
So to me, it's people who are not intentional. They don't know what they want, and they also don't have the the self-awareness to be able to figure that out. And so they can't also really look at the other person and try to get to know them on a deeper level. It's very like
Mm.
surface.
All right.
um
So that's
yeah,
happening on both the men and women's side, you're saying, right?
I think so, but I will speak mostly from my
Mm-hmm.
point of view as a woman.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of men show up that way on the dating scene.
Mm.
But maybe you can tell me what you noticed on the
What do you
women.
notice? Brandon, go ahead. What do you notice?
Oh, like all I can speak for is like the Tucson data market. That's the only pond that swam in. I'm currently not on the market, so like her, I think what she was saying is basically she's not like actively dating, so she can't really speak to that
Mm-hmm.
maybe, and that's what she was saying. But yeah, Tucson is it has a very diverse like dating market. There's a lot of, I'm sure you got the apps there in Canada as well, right? You have like Tinder, Bumble, all those things. And so I
Yeah.
think, yeah, Hinge. I feel like that's like kind of the go-to for a lot of people when they're newly single is they'll get on the apps, right? And here in Tucson, I feel like there was kind of how did somebody put it? They said Tinder was like Walmart, Bumble was like Target, and Facebook Marketplace was like, there was like a Facebook dating site too that was like Kmart or
What?
something. Yeah,
Kmart?
yeah, it was really
Okay.
bad. Like
All
it,
right.
they didn't execute the UI very well, so it was hard to use.
All right.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah, like just kind of echoing on what she was saying, like, I think a lot of people on the apps, I like to call them kind of dumpster fires, right? There's a lot of people that there's a lot of not work. They're just kind of needy. They want to jump into
Mm.
something, and that's
Needy.
something that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a key
yeah,
word. Needy right
well,
there. Needy. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
And what I noticed, yeah, Facebook, exactly, bro, right? Exactly. She knows what I'm talking about. But like,
Ah, Maria, come on up.
come on up.
Maria, please come on up. She's a
What?
producer, writer.
Oh,
She's amazing. She's
let's
amazing. And she
go.
said, "Yeah, let's go. We need another female panel. Come on up when you're
The,
ready. I'm gonna invite you. Go ahead, keep
the,
talking."
well, the one thing I wanted to say was like one thing that I kind of noticed after dating for a while is I feel like a lot of people, and I was included in that, right? I've since done a lot of work. I don't think we're ever
Mm-hmm.
done doing like all the work because we're a moving target and life is always changing and there's always new revelations.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
however, I do feel like a lot of people, men and women, try to just go jump into a relationship because they're looking for something that seems to be missing inside of themselves, and they're
Mm,
trying.
we're going there.
Yes,
Yeah,
We're going there
yeah,
tonight.
that
Or okay.
right there. That's
Keep
it.
going.
right.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Hmm.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and so
Sorry.
and I think that's why a lot of things don't work out, right? So people are, and then another thing that we talk about this a lot. We talked about this in the last Vibe session. Maybe you have some experience with this as well. I'm so sorry. What is your name again?
Belize.
Belyz.
Belize.
She's our
Yeah, yeah.
special guest. Brandon, you're our co-host. You don't even know
I know.
our guest
Well,
name?
I knew her profile, but I didn't. I'm so sorry. I'm just, you know what? I'm new at this. I'm new at
No,
this. But
It's
that's
okay. You're
okay. No
forgiven. Yeah, it's
worries.
okay. Don't worry.
oh, I forgot where I was going with that. But we talk about like,
About the
yeah,
inner
yeah,
work, right? The inner work, and
yeah,
it's yeah.
Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
don't know what they haven't
yeah,
they don't know, they're not giving themselves that,
Mm,
what they need, and they think they're gonna
yeah.
outsource it.
mm,
Because they're cut off from their subconscious, right? And we talked about this before, to where like the subconscious kind of gets what it wants, and maybe they're so like somebody will say, "Why do I always end up with a cheater?" Right? It's like, well, because
Right.
your picker is broken. Why is your picker
Right.
broken? Because there's something inside of you that's attracted to that, and you're not
Yes.
consciously aware of it, right?
Bro, I was gonna come to this, bro.
And you're
Right.
not digging deep to find out what that is, right? So
Mm.
Exactly.
keeps
Yeah.
going in that
Mm-hmm.
direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why,
Right.
like I say, it starts from doing that work to really getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you
Right.
know, your
Yeah,
patterns,
let's
what
talk
you
about
want.
that because it's interesting the way you're talking right now, Belyz, because let's talk about your guide in a little bit, right? Because I felt like in your guide you were addressing more of the behavior side. It was a great point. Don't overshare early in the date, um, and don't do it and contain it. But I think there's something deeper going on the subconscious level as we're talking about right now, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to kind of reconcile this with you, but let's do it later. But first, Belyz, why don't you tell us your story, your mission, and your dream, please?
Yeah. So basically I started creating this content about dating based on my own experience, things
Mm,
that I've learned and the
mm,
mistakes that I've made in the past. And then I just realized that, a lot of women
mm,
get stuck trying to figure these things out. And we keep getting, repeating the same patterns over and over.
mm,
And I was like, I felt, I started first like writing a book and then still like in the works. But then I was like, oh, but there's something I can do immediately. I can actually share, start creating
mm,
like reels and stuff. So each and every reel or carousel post that I create is actually based on something I experienced or something
mm,
that I observed, from friends or like in general in dating. And yeah, so that's how that came about. And I
mm,
focus on discernment, pattern recognition, self trust, and self reflection.
mm,
So I'm really focusing on getting to know yourself. And I don't go deep into the pattern and the why because that is your work. The why, you have to find the why,
mm,
but I name the pattern and put it in your face, shed a light on it so that it becomes so clear for you to recognize it. And so I believe that once you
mm,
start to, like the first step obviously is to really look within, get to know yourself. As women, the society and culture has conditioned us to want a relationship, marriage, have kids. And
mm,
so a lot of us show up on the dating market from a place of scarcity and urgency. Like we have a timeline. You gotta get into a relationship.
mm,
And because of that, you overlook the red flags, you overlook things that don't feel right, and your goal becomes to make things work. You just want to make it work because you want to make sure that you don't fail. It feels like a personal failure if you are not, like in a relationship at a certain age or married at a certain age. So that becomes your goal, and
mm,
then you want to be in that relationship by any means necessary. So you start to overfunction, overgive. You fix, you coach, you
mm,
train. You like want to make it work, and that's where a lot of women get stuck. And so once you take a step back and ask yourself, what do I actually want? What do I need versus what society tells me that I want?
mm,
And many people, like Brandon said, you don't even know what you want. You don't know what your patterns are. You don't know what you need. So you really have to be obsessed with yourself, like in a good way.
mm,
Get to
mhm,
really know yourself and
mhm.
understand yourself and center yourself. Because as women, we're taught to like center men and, and also like, so you
Mm,
put others first, you start to
mhm,
self-abandon. So like take that back, put it inward, center yourself and focus on how do I feel, What do I want? And
Mm.
once you start to focus on yourself, misalignment just start to turn you off. It just feels uncomfortable. It's physically uncomfortable for
Mm.
someone to treat you in a way you wouldn't treat yourself. So you're giving yourself the things that you want the other person to give you. And if they can't match that, it's not tolerable,
Mm.
right? So once you really get to know yourself, your
Mm.
patterns also start to become clear. You
Mm-hmm.
start to notice, oh, I tend to do that. I'm
Right.
like, oh, wait a minute. I just abandoned myself in that moment. I just said yes when I should have said no. And then
Mm.
once you start to notice the pattern, that's how you start breaking it. And once you
Pattern
start,
interrupt, right? That's a
yeah,
very important idea, right?
yeah,
And this is what happened to me, guys, right? Again, it's just so unbelievable, this idea of pattern interrupt. So my story is I've been in this 10-year rut of just comfort and partying and just no mission, right? And then what was I talking about, Brandon?
Pattern interruption. Wait.
Pattern interruption. So 10 years rut. And I knew I wanted to do this content creation thing, right? And I knew I could do it, but then in my subconscious it was like, nah, don't do it, man. You're too old, man. Bro, relax. What are we doing here? That was my subconscious. And I started noticing because I've been doing a lot of awareness practice, right? Like in 10 years. So that I've been building myself in these 10 years without even knowing, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you start interrupting your own patterns, other
Hmm.
people's patterns become clear too.
Yes. Yes, because look, what happened with me was I said, so I'm in this 10-year zone. On January 16th, I made myself a promise saying I'm going to make one video. I've been thinking about this forever. I'm going to freaking interrupt this pattern, right? But I wasn't really conscious of it. I just said something in me said, you have to do one video per day for the next 100 days. You got to keep that promise, even if you get no views. And I said, okay, cool. Okay, and then no excuses. Just use your iPhone. My very first video is so cringe, right? I'm just like, no excuses. Make it as easy as possible. Say whatever you want to say and just post. And I did it, and I got a couple of that. And that was the pattern interrupt. And then the next day, I made another video. Oh, okay. And then another video, another video. A lot of people, they go reverse. They think that the identity drives the behavior. But it's actually the reverse. The behavior drives the identity, right? So
Exactly.
me
Yeah.
showing up as the Vibe Samurai each and every day, I've become the Vibe Samurai, right? My
Exactly.
identity, I had to catch up to my identity, which I always knew would happen in the future, right? So pattern
That's
interrupt. Yeah.
So
yeah.
is pattern interrupt more than just changing your way of thinking and your belief system?
It's actually very much your body. The language of the subconscious is your body. So you
Yeah.
have to take action. You can't overthink this. You can't
Yeah.
use too much because it's something in your subconscious, and the subconscious only speaks the language body. So you have to take action
Yeah. It's
to
like a
interrupt
I
that
think
pattern.
that what you guys are talking about also not just makes sense in relationships, but it also makes sense in your line of work and your belief. And if you show up every day, what you were saying about, I'll make that first video, even if no one
Hmm.
watches it, but if you do
Hmm.
it consistently, I think if you're consistent with anything,
Yes. Yes.
especially in work or love or just life, half the people have a problem showing up. Consistency is the issue, I
Half?
think.
Half? You think only half? What are you
Maybe
talking
a
more,
about?
big
but
majority.
the majority,
The
right?
majority. The majority.
Yeah, I think consistency is an issue. Work, life, love, I think it all spills, I think they mirror each other. And also, I think what you do in one will probably be what you do in the other.
Yeah. So your
Damn.
mind catches up. That's why your body will also tell you before your mind finds out when something is wrong.
100%. When you
Yeah.
said that earlier, I was like, yes, girl. How
Yes,
many
girl.
Exactly.
times have I ignored
Yeah.
something that physically felt crappy because, and you were saying so much knowledge. I was like, oh my God, that was me. I totally remember thinking, I can make this work. This will work. And it feels like shit, but it will work because damn it, I'm
Mm.
saying it's gonna work.
Yeah.
But your body 3
Yeah,
weeks
yeah.
ago
All
was
right.
saying, what are you still doing in this situation? But my
Mm-hmm.
mind's like, no, I can do this. So
Yeah.
yeah, the
It's
body does
literally
know.
that. What you're
Yeah.
talking about is you're talking to your
Yeah.
subconscious. Replace
Mm-hmm.
Right.
body for subconscious. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And that's in any situation, personal or work.
Right.
Yeah.
And some, I think sometimes is the fear of being alone if it's a situation, or if
Yeah.
it's work, the fear of failure, the fear of giving up on something that you should be excelling at.
Fear is a big thing. Like fear is paralyzing, and that's
Mm,
why a lot of self work is working on elimination of fear of
Yeah.
being alone, fear of
mm,
failure,
mm.
and
Fear of what
fear of
people will say.
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know about elimination because I just made a video from Sydney Banks, right? And he said something very interesting, which I made a video of, which was he's saying don't eliminate the feeling. He's saying feel it fully, but eliminate the fear of the feeling. You know what I'm saying? The fear of the feeling, not the feeling itself.
So
Yes.
be
That's what causes the
present.
problem, right? You
So
gotta
the
just feel it.
discomfort.
Yeah, and be curious about it and don't think it, just be curious. Oh, and then over time, if you do this consistently, whenever you start getting scared, you get out of that loop
Yeah.
faster
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah. Because that's another thing you mentioned too. I think in a video yesterday where you were
Hmm.
talking about how we're always running away from the discomfort. It's like
Yes.
you
Mm.
have to be good with sitting with the discomfort because
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot of times where
Mhm.
you feel uncomfortable.
Is
Mm.
That,
that where the
That's
breakthrough happens when you're in
that's
discomfort?
that's where the
yes,
growth is every time.
Yeah, every time you can't avoid it, right, bro?
Yeah,
Bro.
we never grow when we're comfortable. It's nice to
Exactly.
be comfortable at times, but we don't grow during comfort.
Brandon, why don't you tell us a little more about this whole thing and your story? You've been a little quiet. Tell us more. Yeah. What do you think of the conversation so far? Yeah.
Oh, I think it's great. Yeah, pretty much just agree with everything. The collective kind of way that this is going and everything like that.
Hmm.
I was going to ask a question earlier too. Like you said, I was just curious a woman's perspective. So. Because all I have is a male perspective, obviously, because I identify as a male.
All
And
right.
so,
Good.
and I'm
Thanks
thinking
for
about,
letting us know.
yeah, right. So, listen, you said, we all agree, like when people do the work, they're more of an authentic self. They know themselves better. The best person you can get to know is yourself, right?
Mm.
And in my experience, the best way that I think universally a person could do that would be to spend some solitude, usually, right? I mean, we can get insights from other people and groups and stuff like that, but I think like the real inner work usually happens in solitude, right? And so, not that you got to go take a vow of silence and go out and, whatever, but, periods of solitude, right? And so, like, I think, and I've talked about this before, but it seems to me that it's a little bit easier for men to get opportunities of solitude than women. It's just my perspective, but I'm curious because we got some women here to give their perspective on this. And I'm not saying that men
Mm.
do seek out solitude. You can certainly avoid it. And then that turns to loneliness, right? And there's plenty of guys that can sit around and be lonely. It's different than solitude, right? It's different than growing. Well, my point is, I feel like, at least from a man's perspective, like, even if you're like a reasonably attractive man, right? You're kind of invisible, at least in the United States, you're kind of invisible, right?
Mm.
To where it's like people just kind of ignore you, like whatever. You don't get a lot of attention. It's easier in theory to go get solitude, right? Like if a guy wants to check out and go be by himself, it's pretty easy for him to do that.
That's a
Where,
good point.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Whether
Uh-huh.
or not that'll lead to solitude or loneliness or boredom is up to him. But like women, I feel like they have to be a little more intentional because even though a lot of it might be unwanted attention that they get, but I feel like women, even if you're even just an averagely attractive woman, even below average, you probably get a lot of attention as far as like looks, there's people trying to get in your space, trying to be near you, trying to touch you, like all these things, right? Like I think any woman, by the time she's 13 or 14, she's already starting to realize something's changed. People are
Mm.
giving me attention, boys and men, right? And so I feel like women might have to be a little more intentional about trying to get into
That's
solitude
an
because
interesting
they
point,
literally
right?
got to push all that stuff
Yeah.
away. Is that true, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, great question. Oh my God. Go ahead,
That's a
guys. Take it away.
really good
Oh my
question.
God. What's
Great
going on?
question.
I
I
told you
think
the best vibe session ever. This is not the best one we've ever done. I
I
told
think
you, Brandon.
I think it can be a little bit more challenging sometimes for women because sometimes there's just a lot of, even if it's unwanted attention, it's just like there's always this background noise where they kind of got to shut it all out to go spend some time, and then there's
I
always
can
distractions.
I think I agree with you. Speaking for myself. It is, for example, I am bi-coastal. I'm from the East Coast, but I'm currently in Los Angeles. So just taking that leap of faith and doing what I want to do as a producer and a writer and coming to LA,
Mm.
you get the stares and you get the questions and, oh, you're leaving everyone behind and how dare you? And just I go to South America all the time for productions and I travel alone all over the world.
Mm.
And and you're happy and you're listening to your music and you're just bopping along, minding your own business. It's almost like, where's she going by herself? It's a really strange feeling to be so questioned. I was raised by such an
Wow.
independent woman. My
Oh.
mom taught me to do anything, be fearless. So I am fearless. And I feel that and not only by men, I get a lot of pushback by women too. I'm gonna say that.
Really?
And yeah, I'll get
What,
pushback by
yeah.
women.
Why do you think that happens? Why you get pushed back by women? What's going on there?
It could be many reasons. It could be they genuinely feel that I shouldn't be doing it, or they're genuinely concerned for me, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe they live vicariously through me because they wish they were doing it and they can't for
Mm.
whatever
Like
Mm.
so,
reason, whether
Okay.
like
it's I
social
don't
social policing maybe.
oh, I get that a lot and it
Yeah.
sucks, I'm gonna
Wow. Love
say.
that. Social
Yeah.
policing.
I don't get it from women in my field. I don't get it from other writers, other directors, other producers. I get it more so from women who are in different fields of work and prioritize other things. I think family is a big priority, absolutely. I think that, as a professional, it's a little bit harder. What you were saying earlier, to your point about men can have solitude quicker
Mm-hmm.
than women can, I'd have to agree 1,000%.
Mm.
Because also we're raising families. We're the homemaker, the housemaker, the peacemaker, the food maker, and even the bread maker, the breadwinner. But men can just be the breadwinner, and not all men, but a lot of men, they're off and they go do their work, and women work, but they also raise kids. And if you choose a different line than that, there's something wrong with you. Like, why are you prioritizing this versus that?
Mm.
And it just becomes, even today, 2026, I still feel that women get judged harshly, not only by men, but by women too. Or family. Or family can be
Mm-hmm.
like, why haven't you given me grandkids? Or why aren't you married? Or
Yeah.
Right.
why aren't you doing this? It's just
Right.
bullshit.
And that's
Why
the
not?
biggest thing. I had a video called Triggered, right?
Yes,
Because
I
there would
saw
be
that.
a lot of people
Yeah.
would, you see in the comments, they'll go crazy, right? If there's a video of someone saying, "Hey guys, I'm 40 years old and I don't have any kids and I'm using all my money to enjoy this beautiful thing," and then the comments, the triggered comments. "Hey, you're a loser. You don't know what
Yeah.
it feels like to, have a family. You're going to regret this." And I was so shocked. And so that's why I made that video. I was like, anytime there's an extreme reaction like that, you got to pay attention to it. Like if you're doing self work, if you're being triggered by that, hey, you need to do some serious self awareness work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you're projecting basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a little mad right now. I don't know why it triggers me too.
It is a trigger. It is a trigger because it's not fair. And I'm a New Yorker, so New Yorkers, we mind our business. I don't get in your business. Why are you in my
That's
business?
true. That's right.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
remember anything about my neighbors, actually. Maria. Literally, because we never got in each other's business. I literally
Yeah, you
cannot.
mind your business.
Isn't that crazy? Brandon, I'm
Yeah.
being serious. I'm sure you have memories of your neighbors. I literally have zero memories of neighbors. Because we don't butt in New York.
No, we don't. We mind our
Mm.
business. As a good New
What,
Yorker that you are.
what about you, Brandon? You remember your neighbors when you were younger?
Oh, I mean, when I was really little, I remember certain things. I remember these neighbors that had really annoying dog, and they'd have their music up too loud, and I would go over and tell them to turn their music down. I remember being that guy.
Really? As a little kid? As a little kid?
No, no, this was when I was like 30. It was in California, and they were like, I don't know, yeah, it was kind
We're
of
in California. Where
in
was this?
Hollister, California. So yeah, South
No.
Bay, South San Francisco Bay. But
No.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's all I
Belyz.
remember.
No. Okay, let's get back to your thing. So tell us about your guide because I think this is a good thing to discuss, right? Like your example, and then I want to bring up certain points that I had after I read it. So why don't you tell us all about your guide? If you go to her page and you click her link tree thing, it goes to her free guide. So tell us about your free guide. Let's discuss that.
Yeah, the Content Woman's Guide to Early Dating Conversations. So that is a very specific area of just early dating conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
most of my content actually focuses on early dating because that's where
Mm.
things go wrong. And my audience is basically the women that are, intentional, but also tend to self-abandon and
Mm.
overfunction because they're
Mm.
emotionally intelligent and they just
Mm.
want love and connection. And so
Mm.
they make up for what the other person is not doing.
Mm.
And again, those are the mistakes I made as well. So again, that's basically just straight from my experience. And the
Mm-hmm.
guide is specifically that came from the dating apps. Like speaking of the dating apps again, when I was in the dating apps, I started to notice something where a lot of guys they want this whole pen pal back and forth, and they're very comfortable with just chatting. Um,
Just chatting?
that chatting non-stop, that never ends, conversation that. And so as a
Oh,
person that
wow. Uh-huh.
I'm a deep person,
Yeah.
I value depth.
Yeah.
And if you open up to me a little bit and be like, yeah, so my childhood was hard and da, 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 I'll start empathizing. I'll go in and be like, oh, that must be difficult, blah, blah, blah. I ask about
Blah,
questions.
blah, blah.
And before you know it, I'm your therapist,
Right,
Oh
right,
my
and I
God.
don't even know you,
right.
right?
That's called trauma dumping. Of course, you have to set those boundaries. That's
Yeah,
clear,
and
right? Yeah.
then it won't stop there. I will follow up with you. If you tell me something, I'll be like, oh, what happened to that thing? I'm so invested. So that guide is basically to teach women that have those tendencies to contain themselves. Like if
Uh,
you're getting to know a guy and you
uh,
don't know the guy, you
uh,
have to contain yourself and keep the conversation at the level at which you're at
mm-hmm,
instead of going in deep and investing emotionally.
mm-hmm,
And that's how you get pulled in before getting to know the person.
mm-hmm,
So, and that's what my guide is all about is example conversations, where if, a guy says something like,
mm-hmm,
hey, how was your weekend? You just keep it short, it was
mm-hmm,
great, blah, blah, as opposed to, hey, I did this and that. I went to the gym and then my friends came over and then we were
mm-hmm,
doing this and that and I really
mm-hmm.
enjoyed it. You explain how you felt, you da 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 da, all of that, just keeping it contained. And that's
Mm.
what that guide is about.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Belize. So then why do you think when you were in this loop, which you broke out of, right?
Mhm.
Why do you think you were in that loop? What caused you to continue and be excited to be very open with your space? Why do you think because you're a person who's done a lot of inner work. And so
Mhm.
what's going on there? See, because the way the guide is written it was kind of more like changing the behavior as opposed
but
to the
not
deep
the why.
pattern. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's the thing. That's the issue here, right? Not the behavioral stuff comes out of that, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
what is causing the person to be attracted to this kind of person? And what you said was safety is greater than chemistry as well,
Chemistry.
right?
Yeah.
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 But see, to this person, safety is that person who's trauma dumping or whatever he's doing to cross those boundaries
Yeah.
because she learned that. She was conditioned. She learned that pattern. Or even a guy, right? We all are a product of our childhood traumas in
Yes.
one way or
Yeah.
another. Yeah.
So that exactly comes from childhood. It's a childhood trauma where like my father was very much like not emotionally available, and so I learned that I had to make myself useful and perform for love, and
And your father would give you that love if you performed?
not really. So,
Mm,
It was probably the search
but
of
that
the
was
love,
like,
searching.
yeah. So that is me,
mm,
yeah, trying to feel that
mm.
love, and
God damn.
so obviously, I just also grew up in a culture that just like centered men, and men were important, put on a pedestal.
Hmm.
So then I just learned to focus on a man's needs.
Mm.
And so when I showed up in that conversation, it's not really that I'm being attracted to that. I'm just seeking connection and thinking that I really have to get to understand this person, their needs, how they feel, because I'm trying to make them comfortable. I'm trying to make them see that I'm useful to them. I'm trying to them,
Mm, hmm.
like me
Wow.
because I can listen to them and empathize with them, and
Right.
you know, and then if I give them everything and put them ahead of me, they will reciprocate that. So it's
Mm,
like I'm doing the thing that I wish
hmm.
someone would do for me,
Hmm.
and I feel
Hmm.
like if I do it for them first, they will reciprocate. They will do the same thing to me,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So it's
But
just like
but there's someone who would do that, right? Who would reciprocate, right?
there's definitely someone who would do that.
Hmm.
But a person who would do that would not even need you to do all of that, right?
Mm, mm.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to perform or do anything for that person because they will see you for you and they will meet you where you are.
Mm. So how do you know when that happens? How does that feel to you? When you know that the guy is reciprocating, you're in early stages of dating, right? You're in early stage of that. He is reciprocating. He is being vulnerable and not needy. So how do you feel that? How do you know when that happens? What is your kind of proof? Yeah.
You know that when you basically do nothing. That's why basically it's the art of doing nothing. Do
Oh
less.
my gosh. Zen
Do
right there. The art
less.
of doing that. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
that's why that's the whole point of containment. You say less, you not like it's not like you withholding, but you're trying to see what a man can do
Hmm.
when he's self-motivated without you trying to pull him out, and so when you're not doing all of that and the person is leaning in, they're showing curiosity, they're really
Hmm.
appreciating you for you without you
Hmm.
having to perform. That's how you know.
Oh, I
I think these
love
are life
that.
skills. They should show this in high school.
How do you
Yeah,
show this though,
honestly,
Maria?
they
How do you
should be
show this?
teaching
How do you
this.
show
A
this?
life class. They used to have home economics. They got rid of basic stuff that kids should learn
Let's
how to cook.
let's produce a children's series then, Maria. Let's make
They
something
need to
happen.
from
Yeah.
for high school. Well, I think for a high school at least, these are
Yeah,
basic functions. This is makes a hell of a lot of sense to me. I mean, at 15, 16, 17, 18, even
at
college,
13, they should
You're
start
you're
at
right.
13.
You're right. To talk about all this stuff that we're talking about, it would like really heal a lot of people. There would be a lot less suffering if
a
that was
lot
the case.
less and more
Uh-huh.
clarity. My God, so
Yeah.
much clarity.
Yeah, they would be.
And you touched upon so many things, the childhood inferences that affect you as an adult. So why
Yes.
not teach children so they can clean
Hmm.
it up when they're younger?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because look,
yeah, so it's
yeah.
definitely
Hmm.
yeah. So it obviously takes a lot of self work, which means you really,
Hmm.
therapy, meditation. Like you
Hmm.
really have to do some work
Hmm.
to get down to all the whys, why you
Hmm.
show up the way you do and
Hmm.
whatnot. But the reason why I like pattern recognition so much is that it's practice what we're talking about.
Hmm.
Practice. I was watching like this content creator. She did this genius thing where she talks to I think it's AI, and she calls her Dr. Rhea, and then she will ask her questions,
Uh-huh.
Dr. Rhea, blah blah blah, and then Dr. Rhea likes to say things that, oh, women have to practice the art of walking away. Walking away at the first sign of disrespect, to the point where it
Mm.
becomes a visceral reaction, like your body
Mm.
acts
Body,
before you
body,
do.
body.
Like
Exactly. Body,
boom.
body, body. Boom.
So that's why it's like practice, practice, practice. You practice pattern recognition. You just practice to the point, oh, that's what that is. I know this movie.
I say that all the time. Look at you. Same story. I see what
Yeah,
you're doing. I talk to myself like that. When I have negative
exactly.
thoughts, I'm like, I see you. Man, this is crazy. This is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So it's very interesting because yeah, childhood trauma does a lot of
Guys, I'm telling you right now, like this childhood
Wow.
trauma thing, I grew up in a pretty good family, loved my mom, dad, right? And so, but I've had other issues, but in terms of family, totally cool. And anyway, so like I became the Vibe Samurai and I'm doing all the TikTok stuff and Instagram and getting so many DMs and comments. And now I'm doing clarity or breakthrough calls. So I'm coaching people. And I mean, one thing is just I just did not realize the level of suffering. So I was like really grateful. Oh my God, there are so many people messed up because of their childhood, like the mom, the dad, and it carries over their entire life. I had a clarity coach call with a 50-year-old woman. I don't want to get into the details, right? But the problem all stemmed from her childhood, and she's waking up a little bit, and she's like, "Oh, this is uncomfortable," right? Like she's remembering things from her past, and
mhm.
so, and even Brandon, talk about your mother wound and how impactful that is, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, whatever. I had a pretty traumatic childhood. I left home at 15. I was homeless for a long time, and when I was a teenager, I was abandoned by my parents. And then, anyway, when I got, and then anyway, I don't want to go into a big thing about me. Made a lot of really bad choices, and then I got my stuff together, did a lot of work, and then I got married and did all those things and built up all this identity through the marriage, right? It was a long marriage. It was like 16 years. We were talking about this earlier, right? About identity and how it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of bullshit. Although it's not always bad, and we're always in some level of identity. It's part of the human condition. But all
Mm-hmm.
that identity was wrapped up in that relationship. And when that ended 3 years ago, pretty much all of me ended, right? So then I was like, because if you would have asked me right before the divorce, who are you? I would have said, well, I'm a married man, I'm a family man, I'm a business owner, I'm a homeowner, I'm all these things. And then when we separated, I moved out and I said, hey, go ahead and keep the business for now because you need an income. And so overnight, I was no longer a family man, a married man, a homeowner, a business owner. I was like, none of these things. It was like, who am I? And so I just this weird feeling of not having an identity. And I was like, well, if it could have been taken away so easily, then it wasn't really who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Wow.
that caused me to go really deep and figure out the essence of who I am. And we were talking about this earlier about like Eckhart Tolle, and he talks about all this identity is like, the inner voice you hear talking all the time. That's your voice narrating your life. Like, that's not even you. That's not even you. That'll lie to you. That'll tell you it'll tell you you're fat. It'll
That is
tell you
not
you're,
you.
that's not you either, right? So it's like, so then who are you, right? And then he goes down all the way down to the base that he kind of calls like the operating system. And I equate that with love. Like, our essence is love, right? And you see that in a baby, right? A baby is innocent, it's full of joy, it's wonder, it's kind of just love, right? And it has needs, and it's so authentic. That's why people love babies. And that's
so authentic.
And if you think about like true intimacy, I feel like I've experienced it, not very often, but if you can get two people and they can drop enough of their identity to really connect with each other, it's like operating system to operating system, like pure energy to pure energy. It's a beautiful thing, and it's fleeting.
Right here, Vibe Sesh.
Right here, right?
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah, and so anyway, I guess what was the point? Oh, yeah, and so the point of why I said all that, I get sidetracked. I had a squirrel moment, sorry, ADHD, but all that identity got stripped away, and then I was in this pain. But it came back to like my mom abandoning me after the marriage ended, right? Like that little devil on my shoulder said, see, bro, nobody's ever loved you. She didn't even love you. Your mom didn't love you. And it got real dark. And then I had to decide, like, do you really love yourself? Do you love yourself for all the flaws? Can you love all of yourself? And I had to get down to the causes and conditions. And I did, for the first time in my life, find real, authentic self-love. And that was a beautiful thing. Right. And then I started building identity again. Right? I became a rock climber. I reinvented myself. Right. People say that all the time. And so, it's kind of natural. We start to like identify with things that we like to do but it was a beautiful process. It told me a couple things. One, a lot of things that we wrap ourselves up with in this public face, it's not real. Right. It's not really who we are. It's things we do. It's maybe things we associate with. It's things we identify with. But it's not the core essence of the love of the operating system of who you are. And so I think, and then going into the whole dating scene, in my late 40s, it was it was an interesting experience, right? All these dumpster fires, rolling around, bumping into each other, spilling off onto each other. They got these fake profiles, like their five best pictures in 500 characters, which is like mostly a lie, but there's a little bit of truth, and then you try to get together in relationship and there's all this trauma, and there was a lot of that, right? But there was some real growing experiences, and I don't know where I was going with all that, but
we were just talking about how it came back up, the mother wound. We're talking about the importance and the traumatic nature of all our childhood.
And how you were reinventing yourself when you reinvented yourself, and then you got back into the dating game, what you found.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what you're saying.
Right. And I think that is like the biggest problem, like in like the dating apps, is like most people haven't spent the time to really get to know themselves, and they're showing up to fulfill a need that's lacking inside themselves that they're trying to trying to have somebody else fill that need. And then, and like, I think it's interesting because
half of my life.
Maria, you didn't know any of this stuff? You didn't know any? Wow.
Not from this perspective. That was amazing. He just said they are showing up not even as themselves, not even half of themselves, and they're figuring it out on the app. Like,
right.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Right.
What a disaster.
And I know that
what
because
do you think about it.
I know that because I did all that. It's like we kind of make these mistakes.
But so real that you can identify that, say that, and how many of us in the world are literally going through that right now?
Yeah.
Right.
How many people are doing that? And we're walking around like zombies, hoping to meet the one. I mean, they all say,
zombies? We're all like
zombies. But it's true though. Everything that you seek is inside of you, though, isn't it? Doesn't it come back to that? Doesn't it come back to self-love? How much do you love yourself? And can you love yourself so thoroughly that you can share that with someone else and not be needy? Just meet them right where they need to be met, and they can meet you where you need to be met. But you are your own autonomous, lovely, loving person, and they are their own autonomous, loving, lovely person.
Oh my God, this is the best vibe sesh ever. Hey, Brandon, this is the best vibe sesh ever.
Three. It's the best.
3. It's the best. We always do the best. It's because of Maria and Belyz, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you do fully like commit to yourself and like in that deep, authentic way, you know, you fill yourself up from yourself. And then when you do decide to connect with another person and maybe it doesn't work out, like you don't lose yourself in that person and they get to enjoy your overflow, right? They get to enjoy your overflow. So if they leave, they don't leave with any of you. They get to take their stuff and they get to go on their way and you keep you, you know, and I think that's the difference too, is because before I was lacking so much in myself and I was latching onto people and I was trying to like find the love I didn't get from my mom and them, right? And I think I would make them not feel safe because they would intuitively be like, bro, this guy wants something from me that I can't give him, like on an emotional level. And I was creating resistance, you know, like I can't be your mom, dude. Even though I wouldn't explicitly say that, I think they could feel that. And then when they would leave, I would be attached to them. So I felt like they were walking away with a piece of myself. And you know, and the truth is, and we were talking about this earlier too, like when I got real heartbroken over this girl like a few years ago, right? Like right after the divorce. It was, and we were just talking about this earlier, and I think it's a good point that maybe ties into this conversation, but I like fell in, there was like limerence and it felt like love. And then, you know, she decided to go back with, you know, with another person she was kind of seeing. We were kind of in this triangle. It was kind of a mess. Okay. But anyway, she went back with this other person and I was like, really, it's caught me by surprise. I was really kind of torn up by it. And I was like, what is this? Right? What is going on? And when I had time to finally analyze it or really understand it or unwrap it, what I realized is I didn't miss her. And I wasn't necessarily in love with her. I was in love with a fantasy and an idea of who I thought she could be, or who I thought she was, right? And so when I finally realized dude, it was so easy to let go of that because I didn't have to let go of a person. I had to let go of a fantasy. And it's like, oh, okay, I can do that.
The idea of her.
Yeah. I could let go of the idea easier than a person, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Belyz said something earlier about pleasing people and what you didn't do. You were talking about earlier, Belyz, about what happened in your childhood with your dad and how you kind of carried that into relationships. I agree 100%. The idea of what you're trying, for example, in my situation, trying to make my mom happy because she had such a miserable marriage to my dad, who I adore. I love my parents, but they work better separate. And her issues with her mom and her sister. And as a kid, talk about trauma dumping. I grew up listening to all my mom's shit, and I was literally a child psychologist.
Why?
So growing up, now I understand, by the time I was between 10 and 14, adults would randomly come up to me and dump their stuff on me. I was like a good listener. And I ended up finding myself trying to people please because I was always trying to please her, make her happy. So I grew up trying to make everyone happy. I had to be the best student, the best person. I had to be the best everything just because I felt that I wasn't enough because she was always so goddamn unhappy. I don't know if I can curse here, but sorry.
Of course.
But, you know, she was so unhappy that I'm like, if only I can make her happy. So that kind of translated into so many things I did until I figured out, like you guys were saying.
How did you figure it out?
Trial and error, pattern recognition, trial and error, pattern recognition, and honestly, finding the love within myself and just saying it over and over again. Yeah. And I had to say it out loud. I would look at myself and say, Maria, everything you're seeking is inside of you. I'd look in the mirror and say, everything you want is right there. You're looking at it. It's right there. And I had to say that over and over and over and over until I believed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not easy. It's very difficult, by the way.
Wait, but like, what? So tell us more about self-love, because I think I love myself a lot, but I want to make sure. How do you self-love? Like, what are you doing to self-love? You're just saying these kinds of things in the mirror. Oh, it's all inside of you. So affirmations,
honestly,
or is it
affirmation,
more?
and I think it's a little bit of selfishness, what people perceive as selfishness. Learning to say no, learning to say yes, learning to really say no and mean it. Because I would always teeter. I want to make people happy. Hey, can you help me tonight at 8:00? And I already had plans. What's going on? It's an emergency. Sure, I'll be right over. And I didn't
Oh,
want to
that's
come
you,
over.
Maria.
I didn't want
Wow.
to be over. I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want to be your free therapist for 300 more days. But I would find myself doing that again. And, would basically what I would find fault in people and I would call them, energy vampires. But
Good
then I
word.
realized that I was letting it happen.
Yeah.
So I
Mm.
have to own that.
Yes.
What did I do that I can get mad at that person? Like they're really sucking off my time and my energy and my peace and lowering my vibration. Because yes, you meditate, you eat, you work out, listen to music, do whatever makes you happy. Go to a museum, feed yourself. But if you're allowing people to suck your energy away and you're not stopping it, are they the problem or are you the problem?
Oh,
Yeah, radical
Exactly.
responsibility. Radical
Self
100.
responsibility. I
self
love that.
reflection, self reflection.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
people sometimes will be like, oh, you can be hard on yourself or blame yourself, but that's not what it's about. It's about taking back the power.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Because
The
Yes.
control, the
you
power.
can't you can't
wait,
control or
repeat
change
that. Repeat
something.
that. I missed that one about the power. Repeat that.
Yeah, so it's not about blaming yourself. It's
Mhm.
about taking back your power.
Yep.
Mm.
Because if you're looking inward, you have the control to change the outcome. But if you're
Hmm.
like, oh, these
Mm.
people keep sucking my energy, you're powerless, aren't you?
That's
Yes.
right.
They're
Because
sucking
Yep.
they're
your
sucking my
energy.
energy, but I can block them. Don't suck my energy,
Yeah,
right?
what are
And,
you gonna do
and
about that?
Mm.
Belize, you're right on the money. And that's
Mhm.
I was yesterday old when I figured it out.
Oh,
Um,
damn.
at the end of the day, it's not what's being done to you only, is how you respond to it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
that when I figured that out, it made all the difference.
How
The
you
that's right.
power
respond
is
to it.
here. Yeah, how do you
Mm-hmm.
respond to people asking you for things? How do you respond to getting
Mm,
upset or not
right.
choosing to get upset?
yeah,
Man.
It
Hmm.
And
really
how,
is
Yep.
inside.
yeah. How much
yeah,
more peaceful did you get after you figured all this out?
Oh,
Tell us about.
it was 180 degrees. It was literally
Yeah.
black and white. I'm in control. And that was big for me, being in control. But
Damn.
also understanding not to get upset about what you can't control. It's how you
Ooh.
right.
respond to all of it. What you
Yes,
Hmm.
can control, what you can't control. You can choose so many things, and it's involuntary to be upset, sad, depressed, angry, happy, all of that. But at the end of the day, sit with it, process, but then still make a conscientious decision like, okay, I've gone through it, I've experienced it. What did I learn? And I need to move on. I am in control, not the problem, not the feeling. I need to control this narrative because ultimately I'm responsible for me.
yeah, that's right.
And that took a long time to
Mm-hmm.
get there. But I got there.
Mm,
I always
wow.
like the analogy of like driving your own ship, right? And so many people like they're not driving their own ship. Like maybe it's
Mm,
their boss, maybe it's their partner, maybe it's their relatives, maybe it's other people, their friend group in their life that's kind of dictating their behavior or triggering all these types of things where they're not. And if you're not driving your ship, somebody else is, and you're going to go
mm.
wherever they drive it, right? So when
Oh.
you do
Yes.
take control, first you got to take responsibility for all of it and be like, yeah, maybe it sucks that stuff happened, but I chose to place myself in this position. I chose to react the way I did. I chose to say yes when I meant no, no when I meant yes. All
Mm,
these things. And when you start to do that, then like one of the things I did was make an ideal, like when I first started that journey, make an ideal self, like who in the future
Mm.
could I see like in the future, right? And then when I would meditate, I would bring that person into me and be like, how
mm,
would this person handle this situation today, right? The
mm-hmm.
future self that I see, like, doing these things. And then, keep, like you said it earlier too, somebody said it, keeping promises to yourself, and part of that for me too, like self-love was like part of the physical journey. Like, I have a certain, I eat certain things, I get good fuel, I get good sleep, I have a good strict exercise and workout regimen, and that's
Mm.
non-negotiable. Those are promises I made to myself. So when somebody says, hey man, we want to go do this, I'm like, nope, I gotta get these things done, and I don't know. So it starts like that with me, but then I make all the other. Yeah, I'm vibing on this conversation, I think.
You're
Wow.
1000% correct.
Yeah.
I had a similar situation where I was always with a friend of mine, and the way she handled pressure and sadness was drinking. And you know,
Mm.
I'm like the next person. I like a glass of red wine or white wine with a meal, but it wasn't that. It was a lot more than that. And I
Right.
started to realize patterns. Like I'm drinking a lot more than I
So
normally
you
do.
notice patterns. Okay.
Yes. And
Yeah.
also, I started gaining weight
Mm.
because sugar and alcohol, you know, it's all in there. And I made a conscientious decision to just be healthier. And I stopped hanging out with this person completely for my mental wellness. And also, I stopped drinking alcohol completely because it reminded me too much of her. And I just started working out, running, drinking water. I said, nope, if I'm going to cut this person off, I'm going to cut everything I learned how to do with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I took a whole year to do that. And I got back to myself and
Mm.
you know what? When you're choosing you, you really see who loves you and who's there for you and who's not. Your real friends will stick around. Your real loved ones will stick around because
Yeah.
suddenly you're not the fun girl
Mm.
drinking and having fun and just, yeah, I'm down to hang out. When you focus on you and people still are there for you, those are your people.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
the energy here.
Yeah. I think you really love it. No? You found your people, I think. No?
I did, yes. This is my kind of thing, like I was telling you. Yeah, I'm happy
Mm.
here.
Yeah. Hey, so you just joined Instagram or how long has it been? Because your account looks newer.
It's new, yeah. I just joined.
Mm.
Um, I joined in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
What drove you to all of a sudden do that in February? Like what was the
So I had been sitting on it for a while, and
mm. Mm.
you know, and then one time I saw this reel where someone said, like think about something you're really good at.
Mm.
You can really like make that your brand, and just start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh yeah, that is so true. I think I'm good at this, so I'm gonna start,
Mm-hmm.
creating content about this, and that's
Wow.
what started. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, so why do you think you're good at this? Like you've helped a lot of friends, or what's your story and your coaching? Tell me about who you've helped. I'm curious. Like, what's the situation? What you've helped? Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm good at is I'm really good at like pattern recognition and going deep and trying to understand human behavior and, you know, really just going deep and getting curious. And so I started zooming in on dating and, I became a go-to person for my friends, and just listening to them and giving them advice and being straight with them. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was, yeah, I spot these patterns really well, and I can,
Mm-hmm.
put two and two together, and I can come up with a whole, okay, this is what's going on in the
Mm-hmm.
background and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and just, um, but also I just felt like I had a story to share.
Mm. What's your story? What's the
I just
story?
want, it's what I'm talking about, right? All of this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to
Mm-hmm.
share with the women, like, hey,
Your learnings. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
is the things I learned, and I wish I learned this sooner. So maybe someone is discovering this right now.
Mm. Hey, but
And
why is this so important? Because you just want to reduce suffering, or like because you could be doing a lot of other things, but why this? Are you because there's you could have done other things is my point, but like why did you take this path?
because I just feel like there's a big gap. I see a lot of women self-abandoning and
Mm,
suffering and really struggling just to
mm,
maintain a connection and, you know, tolerating things that are unacceptable. And this is something that I noticed from
mhm,
childhood,
mhm,
like from the environment that I grew up on and my culture. from my mom and
Mm-hmm.
all the women around, and it just like broke my heart to see
Mm.
what women go through and how much they have to tolerate.
Mm. Hey, by the way, you keep saying culture. What culture?
From Rwanda in East
Rwanda?
Africa.
Really? Rwanda? Wow. Okay, cool. Uh-huh. It's a
Yeah,
very, very masculine, chauvinistic society.
very, yeah, patriotic, yeah, patriarchy and all of that.
Mm, mm,
Very like men are here and women are here
mm.
type of.
Hey, but Belyz, so when you work with these women, right? Like, do you go into this childhood trauma? Because we've been talking about this the whole time, right? That we can trace a lot of our kind of style of dating back to our
Child.
child, our relationship to our mom, our relationship to our dad, our family, right? Like, so do you hone in on that part? And do you talk about it on your videos? I'm not sure. Like this,
I
no.
don't. I
Why?
don't. And I also like, I just started, so
Uh-huh.
I don't do any coaching or one-on-ones.
Oh, you
This
don't? Oh,
No,
okay.
this is
Hmm.
literally me just sharing my experience and
Right.
just sharing wisdom and what you call it. And maybe if it comes to me, maybe it might grow into something bigger, but right now I don't, and I don't go deeper into childhood trauma or finding
Hmm.
the root of of the problem. Um,
Why?
I'm just naming the patterns because there's
Hmm.
a lot more work to be done from within, and therapy, really getting deeper to know yourself.
No, but like
And
to make that connection, right? So for people to understand that that pattern is
mhm,
connected to their childhood trauma. But if you don't tell them, then because a lot of people are not making that connection. I know it seems obvious,
yeah,
but people are
yeah,
not
it
making that
does.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe eventually I will get into that,
Hmm.
but I also feel like my content, is for women that are already more inclined to doing the work, and they're probably already
Hmm.
doing
Hmm.
the work. Because when you're not on that level, content like this will not even resonate with you. It's when you start to looking for answers and stuff that you actually start to the universe. Because even for me, when I did not know any of this, I wasn't, coming across any content like this. But the moment I started to do work, that's when I started to see, like, so you have to be already doing the work. You have to already be aware, kind of, at that
Mm,
level. And then the work is really yours to do because it's deep. I
mm,
touch on it, but
mm,
I don't go really deep into it.
mm,
Um, because also,
mm,
like, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a
mm-hmm,
psychologist, I'm just
mm,
sharing my knowledge and experience.
mm.
And
Interesting.
and like I say, pattern recognition is basically a practice. Once you master it, you start to spot these patterns. But also, on an individual level, you have to be doing
Hmm.
really deep inner work, um, yeah, to get to the bottom of it.
What do you think, Brandon?
Oh, hold on. I was just trying to figure out where Cisco went.
Oh, I don't know. I think Maria wanted to join. Maria, are you joining? Let me see. I don't know what happens, Belize. Every time it's supposed to last 4 hours, but I don't know if I'm not pressing the right button. I'm old,
Must
so I don't know what I'm
must be
doing wrong.
must be some
Yeah,
in settings.
Some
Something in
but
setting, you
settings.
think?
because
It's
Probably.
Cisco says he left for Maria to go up.
no, come back,
Oh.
Cisco. We want Maria's not able to join, so Cisco, come on up.
No,
Oh,
Maria is saying, how do I join?
No, she
she's
just said.
asking.
I
Oh,
I dropped
She's,
down so that she can
oh,
come up
uh,
she
here
needs the
but
invite.
Cisco,
because
what do
you
you
guys
have
are
to
having a
say?
great conversation.
No, but what do you think so far, Cisco?
The Vibe Samurai is doing what they do best. Both of them are Vibe Samurai, and you're asking great questions to pull great conversation. Maria was contributing, like it was a great conversation. I was just doing stuff, listening in the background, so kind of.
Wow.
But
Is the maximum 4 people? We can't have more than 4.
No, we can't have more four.
yeah,
If
if he was on
if some
TikTok, he
Yeah,
could
maybe
have.
right,
TikTok.
Maria, next time if there's you don't see it because there's 4, but I think if there's less than 4, then you'll see like a record button with a plus sign on it. If you push that, then it requests for you. But
Man,
right now,
all you guys are so amazing, man. Belyz, Maria. I mean, all the people that I'm meeting, they're incredible. Brandon, this is crazy. No? Like
yeah,
everybody's
no,
High
it's,
amazing.
signal.
yeah,
It's
High
high
signal.
signal.
That's it.
it's
Wow.
all it's like it's all meant to be, you know.
All right, I'm gonna step down for Maria.
All right, Maria,
Okay,
Maria,
all right, now it should pop
Maria.
back up. Maybe, maybe
Okay,
not.
Maria. Maria's all, uh-oh, she's gone. Oh, you should have your invite.
Because she said she's waiting.
Oh, I don't see the plus sign now. That's weird.
Okay, here we go. Now, try that, Maria. We're all trying to get Maria back. She's so cool. Oh, no, it says you
Yeah.
declined.
Why was
I don't know. She's confused. I'll keep going. You guys keep talking. Ah, Maria's gone.
Oh, but I see her
Huh?
in the comments like I'm accepting.
Everybody's waiting for Maria. She's declining for some reason. It keeps declining. See?
Here
Wait.
it comes.
Oh,
Oh
Oh,
my
finally.
there
God,
she
I'm
is.
Oh,
back.
my God. What is
That was a
going on?
challenge.
That was a challenge, she said.
Whoa.
Ah, technology.
Technology's a pain in the
Technology.
butt.
Hey, Maria, so tell us about you. Tell us about you. You're a producer. Tell us your story. What's going on?
I'm a producer, writer, director. Started directing 20 years ago. Started with music videos.
Mm,
And my first music video was a reggaeton video in Puerto Rico.
wow.
And
So
started,
cool.
yeah,
Hmm.
with for Warner Brothers. And started writing as a kid. I've been writing screenplays my whole life. And now I'm in Hollywood. I'm in the vertical realm now, vertical microdramas, and working in that, and also working on some feature projects. So just
What
moving
are
along.
what are vertical micro dramas? What's that?
They started, they're Asian. They started in China, then they worked their way to Korea, and now they're huge here.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, everything you see on your phone,
Mm,
when you see what looks like a little soap opera, a little drum, like 10 episodes, 6 episodes
mm-hmm.
are free, and then you get to the paywall, and you have to pay to figure out what happens.
Oh,
That's
really?
yeah, I'm
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So yeah, I'm
Wow.
writing some stuff like that.
That's
Pretty
cool.
cool.
It's fun. It's fun. It's and every major studio is getting involved in vertical microdramas.
Wow.
You got to
Wow.
kind of engineer it to build it up, and then hook them by like 5 or 6, so that they will want to go see
Mm-hmm.
the rest of them.
Pretty much, you by episode 10, you have a major cliff. They each have a cliffhanger, but the major cliffhanger is episode 10 because you need
Wow.
to know what happens.
Cool.
Wait, so do
It's like
people
an
do how many people buy at that point? Like you have the metrics? Yeah.
A lot of people. They're changing. They used to be coin. Like in Asia, it's more like for people that play video games, and you win coins, so you keep watching and you buy. Now it's changing and morphing into subscription based. Because the American system is subscription based. We have cable. We're used to paying for subscriptions, so it's a
Mm,
learning curve in
mm.
America.
Hey,
As
Maria. Yeah. Maria, tell us about your dating life because we got a dating coach here or a dating expert here as well. And tell us what your situation is now that you're free, you're not a people pleaser, you're independent, strong woman. What's going
hmm
on? Because you know what? You're a very aware woman. You're a very deep woman. A lot of dudes are not that smart. You know what I
it
mean? I
makes
mean, what is that like to be like a deep woman like you? And you too, Belize.
challenging,
Challenging.
challenging.
Oh,
Life,
oh my
life is
God.
challenging. Yes, life
Mm.
is life is challenging, and that's why I think that Belize has this workbook that I think should be given to young women, but also young men.
Mm.
Right.
I
Yeah,
What's the
think
workbook? Mm-hmm.
we
I
need it on
think
the other side for
I
sure.
think they should give it in every school, on every movie set, every kind of situation should have that book because it is challenging in today's world where
And what does that mean, Maria? What
mean,
is
it means
challenging? Yeah.
you can't, you really want to show up to any situation, any relationship, any friendship, any circumstance in life as your most authentic self.
Yes.
And not everyone can vibe. Usually people, men, will see you first physically. What do they like? And they go for the
Mm-hmm.
physical. Oh, okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
attracted to this brunette or this blonde or whatever. And then they get to know you, and then one or two things will happen. Oh, you're so smart.
Mm.
Like,
You get
It
that?
does. As if
You
you
what
get.
did
don't
you
supposed.
expect? And then it's an amazement. Like, well, you're so smart. You know how to do this, and like, yeah. And aren't you? Aren't you smart? I guess not. And then the other thing is the dating field is really empty in a lot of ways.
Mm.
Here's why.
Why?
Most men, not all, I'm clarifying, not all, but a lot think that a cool date is let's go get some dinner and buy you a bunch of drinks. And I could do that on my own. I could buy my own dinner and my own drinks, thanks. I love it, the wine and dine and all that wonderful. But if you're gonna be that guy, then open the door for me, pull out the chair, open the door in the car, and pick me up too. Don't
Right.
meet me there. If you're gonna go that
Exactly.
route, go all the way with it. If
So
not, a much more interesting date is let's go to a
okay,
museum.
there you go.
Let's discuss art. Let's take a
Whoa! Go
walk.
to the
Let's
museum and
discuss.
discuss. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, let's do
Mm-hmm.
something that's not the
Mm-hmm.
plain boring bullshit everyone else does because they have no imaginations or no intelligence or no life.
What
Sorry, I don't mean to
what
sound
about
snooty, but
what about outdoorsy dates? What do you think about those?
those are awesome too. Let's go on a
Are they?
hike.
All right.
Yeah.
Whoa,
I like
Brandon!
that.
No,
I live in
Brandon!
no.
California, of course. Let's go on a
A
hike.
hike? Mm-mm.
But
I
see,
You
like
that's
don't
the
it.
like
thing,
hikes?
though.
Why?
But you,
Why no
but
hike?
police, you gotta find the middle ground. If someone doesn't
Yeah.
like a hike, cool.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
they
yeah.
like a
A walk.
museum,
A
Maybe
a
just
walk,
go for a
walk, or
walk.
compromise,
maybe riding a bike.
compromise. Mm-hmm.
I
Or
could.
maybe bumper cars. Let's go to a museum. Let's go to amusement park. Let's get on the bumper cars. Let's do some crazy shit. Let's go to I don't know, a roller coaster. If that, I mean, I like adrenaline, so I'm that person. I'm saying not everyone likes adrenaline, so maybe we'll, take a walk. Here, there's so many things you can do. Take a walk.
Go
People
to
in
go
New
to a
York,
trampoline park.
trampoline, if that's what you're into. But in New
Yeah.
York, for example, you can people watch. You just go to Washington Square Park in New York City,
Yeah,
sit
it's
there, eat a
cool.
couple of
Yeah.
hot dogs, and just watch people.
Yes. Oh man, I missed
That's
that.
always fun.
Yes.
Or go to a Dodgers game or a Yankees game. Like there's so many
I
Mm.
feel
things you
like
can do
I feel
Right.
like
other
walking is
than
nice because you don't,
yeah.
you get past the awkward. Like what? Sometimes when you're sitting down at a dinner, it almost feels like an interview, and it's like,
Yeah.
where do I put my
Yeah.
hands? Do I keep just staring at her? Like, do I, you know what I mean? When you're walking, it just feels so natural. It's like okay, and then you loosen up and you kind of get your body, you're in your body, and you could like, I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of nice when you can have those types of dates.
It's just cool to be normal.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
be
yeah,
So
yeah.
wait,
normal.
wait, wait. So
It,
why is it so hard, you think? Why do we not have more people like that in the dating world? Where are they? I mean, they're just very few that you can really connect with someone. Why are they so
What?
rare?
Where? Oh, you're in LA, and you say it's hollow in LA.
mm, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
She's like, mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is it
Oh
because
God, yeah.
everybody's the same, or
Yeah,
this?
what is going on there? I don't
Yeah.
understand
Honestly,
What?
anything. Yeah.
it's I don't want to generalize, but I think that it's just a lack. I'm gonna say lack of imagination.
Lack of
And also
imagination.
lack of intent because Belyz talked about this earlier
Mm.
about what you're setting boundaries. I love when you guys said about setting boundaries and what you expect and don't accept and don't accept. It's almost like it shouldn't be a boundary. It should be let me ask you what you like to do and what would I like to do and let's meet somewhere in the middle. But no one has that wherewithal to figure out what that middle is, or they just do the go-to, and the go-to is dinner and drinks, and that is so blasé.
They're lazy. It's
Lazy.
low
No,
effort.
no. Show up with your best self. Give
Okay,
me
let
some
me ask that,
intention.
Brandon. I know you have a girlfriend right now, but let's say you're free in the market. What does that look like? A date with you? Is it dinner and drinks, or what does it look like for you in
Oh
Tucson,
man, I mean,
Arizona?
oh God, in Tucson, I would kind of like usually like when I was dating towards the end when I got a little bit better at dating, because it's like a game, like at first you suck, your profile sucks, your pictures suck, you're nervous, you're not, but then eventually you kind of used to it, meeting people and stuff like that. But I guess I would just feel them out on the app and kind of see if we could find some kind of common interest. And some people are like, no way do I even want to go for a walk. It's like, okay, cool. Maybe we could find something else. You know what I mean? And some people are like, hell yeah, let's do the 10-mile hike, right? Most people aren't like that. But, find some sort of in between. Like one thing that I liked, there's a nice trail that's like kind of the happy medium to where it's like, you hit the trail, it's relatively flat, so there's no elevation, and it's just basically a walk, but it's kind of in nature in the saguaros. It's beautiful. It's in the Saguaro National Park, and it's like 1 mile, so it's not too far. And so we'd hit it at about dusk or a little bit earlier sometimes and get out of there before it was dark. But you could kind of feel it out, get out there, and if the person felt really comfortable, if both people felt comfortable, they could kind of hang out and stargaze, which was kind of nice. That was a really nice date. I did that a few times. There's a couple girls that wanted to do that. Sometimes it's dinner, just depends. Like sometimes that would be their preference, but sometimes we would do climbing gym dates if they were
Wow.
adventurous
Wow. So you're
adventurous
kind of
that
like
way.
you're adaptable. You're adaptable, right? You kind of okay.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
least he was trying. At
There
least
you
he had
well,
go.
imagination. At
Right?
least there are
sometimes
Use
it's
options.
imagination. Yeah.
I mean, even mini golf, or like she said, like bumper cars. They got these boats where you like go around, you hit each other with squirt guns. Something like that's kind of fun sometimes, or laser
Yeah.
tag even. Like I don't
Or,
know,
or
like
or what about that thing, the scooter thing that you liked, right? That you discovered
yeah,
recently,
dude, you could
right?
just go downtown. Just go downtown. There's a nice like kind of not really waterway, but area where you can drive and you could rent these little scooters. You just scan with your QR code and you just go ride scooters around downtown and explore. Things like that. It just depends on the person, I think, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since
Oh,
I
but
dated, but
Brandon, why aren't there more guys like you that are cool and creative and
And
you?
plan dates, because actually,
Yeah.
like, one of the biggest complaint right now on the dating market is men don't plan dates.
Mm.
And a lot of women are having to actually initiate and plan the dates.
and I think
But why is
yeah,
that so bad that the girl plans the dates? I thought, what's going on?
It's not bad. It's
Oh,
the first date really should be
oh,
planned by
really?
a
The first
man.
date
I
should be
feel
planned out?
I feel
Interesting.
I,
you know what it is? The art because as women we're now in the age of let's be independent and do our own thing,
Yeah.
but women still want to be pursued. And
Right.
yeah.
it's also the art of the pursuit.
Yeah.
Men
I
want to pursue. And men want to be creative. You have to also open up that space
Mm.
so that they can do that. And that also takes, some kind of training or learning or relearning, because even though you're independent and you can do it all, you're that woman who can do everything. You still have to, it's okay to let a guy do guys do, and they should pursue
Mm.
you. And they should take you
well,
on dates, and they should hold the door open. And that old fashioned sense of old fashioned isn't so out of
Old
vogue
fashioned.
anymore. People
Mm.
want
Someone
that
said
now.
in the comments, they're like masculine women and feminine men.
yeah.
Yes.
That's
Karina
exactly
I
knows.
what we're seeing
Karina
today.
knows what she's talking
I
about. The
I
roles have changed a
Masculine
lot.
women for feminine men.
well,
I've never heard of
so
feminine
Yes.
fire.
no, that's exactly what
I'm gonna
it
make a
has
video out
flipped.
of this tomorrow.
Yeah, it is flipped, and like I think did he freeze? Oh, he's back.
No,
And
he's
I
back.
tell so I'm raising two boys, right? And so this is kind of like it's a personal thing to me, right? And so
Mm.
like I feel like a responsibility to try to help them become like decent men, right?
Hmm.
And so like my whole thing with them is, and I think it ties into this, right? Is I tell them like I see a lot of young men, and Vibe and I agree on this, that we think like the state of young men right now is kind of a disaster, right? Like something happened, they're off track, they're lost, they seem to have no purpose. There's a lot of issues going on with young men, right? There's no guidance, there's no leadership. And some of that, a lot of that's not their fault, right? Some of that's like, but they're not, so here's the thing. So how do we change that, right? So, I mean, I guess through parenting, but, and we could start helping them too, where they're at. But like with my kids, I tell them like, if there's a girl that you're interested in, it's okay to go up and say, hey, what's your name? You want to talk more or whatever, that's fine. You can pursue friendship, talk, you can approach, you can do these things as long as you're respectful, like whatever. But I said the main thing you got to do, man, is lock in on yourself, right? And so I see a lot of young guys doing is they're just chasing, and they're trying to find cheat codes for everything. And we see that this whole like looks maxing space, like she said, the men are becoming women, right? So you got all these, and I'm not saying a guy might not benefit from having a skincare routine, like that's fine. But we're getting all this crazy, like hyper looks maxing industry and the young men and the cheat code and the peptides, and they're on T at an early age. They're trying to look a certain way, and they're skipping the inside job, right? And so I tell my kids, I'm like, your job is to figure out, number one, what lights you up, what really interests you, and then you got to go out and try and fail and try and fail and try and fail and fall on your face and get back up, and don't be scared to be cringe and keep going and keep failing. Failure is the path to success. And as you do that, you will build emotional resiliency. You will build character. You'll be able to stay calm in difficult situations. When life throws you curveballs, you'll be like, I got this, man. I've been through this stuff before. You will become like all the things that I think is a good man, right? And you will build all that, and then the money will come, right? You will get good at things. You will understand systems. You will do all these things. And then you will kind of just create a gravity, right? And so people will be, not just women, but everybody will be attracted to you because you'll be miles ahead of everybody else, because most people are being lazy. They're not trying, they're not learning, they're not reading, they're not teaching themselves skills, they're not failing and getting better and refining, they're scared to do all that stuff. So then the game flips, and then you kind of have your own gravity. So why bring this in this conversation? If you've become that guy and you go out and maybe you're in the dating thing and you're trying to do some dating, well, then you can just put it out there and say, hey, look, you want to go have an experience with me tonight? Here's what I think we should do, right? And you're comfortable. This is what I like to do. Does it sound like it was something you want to do? Cool. And then she's happy to join, and you got it. You got to figure it out. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I like this spot. We'll go check this out. These places got good burger. Like whatever it is, right? And if she wants to join, cool. If she doesn't, cool. There's no pressure. You can be in yourself the whole time. You're not putting pressure on her. She can, not go or leave at any point in time. I feel like everything is so off. Like guys are like, they're performative. They're trying to like placate to what she wants, and then they're scared to suggest anything. And it's all this weird energy, and the woman feels the pressure and the neediness, and like, it's just all off. What do you guys think?
And a few people have mentioned that dating is very expensive now, which is a good point. And also social media has kind of ruined everyone. Social media has affected the younger generations so much because that is the lens by which they see themselves. And using social media as a mirror to judge yourself and judge other people really affect what's expected of you, even in the dating world, even when you're young, or even teenagers. They're comparing themselves to other teenagers that maybe are casting these false, unrealistic expectations and visuals of what they have or what they look like or what they own. And so what you said made so much sense about teaching your sons to do what they want to do, to figure out what makes them happy and what they love, what gives them fire. I think that is brilliant. I think that is necessary. I think that's the antithesis and the answer to social media, because we're so stuck on the phone that we're not figuring out who we are.
The answer. Brandon, you got to get your word out there.
He does have the answer, because young people are too focused on the phone.
He has the answer.
Yeah, he does. I think that would really include, that would help young men and women.
And I think us Gen Xers and even some millennials are old enough now, dare I say that word, where we still understand the old world, right? And I think another compounding problem with like the alphas and the Zs is they grew up in this world of texting, and I'm probably sounding really old right now, but here's the problem with that. There's every time you do that, instead of go talk to a person, you're losing a little bit of opportunity to sharpen your social skills. And I think there's just, at this point, there's just a problem with the younger generations of being able to like talk to people. Like it seems so simple to us,
Right.
because we come from a time to where if you wanted to do something, you had to go talk to somebody, right? And so you
Do you
just
feel
built
like
those
that
skills.
with your sons? Do you feel like your sons don't talk as, or I guess you kind of push that,
Well,
or how
yes
are
and
your
no.
sons
I
doing?
mean, they do get together and they have exchange and they got their homies and they play soccer. But I mean, there's all this like texting. If you just think of like texting as like it's good, it's handy, it's very helpful, it's valuable, but it gives so many people so much time to think about the context of how they want to say something. On one hand, that's very useful, but on another hand, it kind of degrades your ability to people on the fly, right? So when you put them out on stage where they got to just talk to somebody, they're like, oh, I don't know how to respond to that. I need
Well,
time to
you
think
mean
about how I'm going to text.
even if they do lives like this,
Yeah, yeah, I
they
think
can't speak in lives? Really?
well,
Wow.
I don't know if it's that bad all the time, but I think they just lack some of that nuance and I don't know, just being able to go, just riff and go with the flow. And that's part of a relationship. That's part of chemistry. It's part of bonding. It's the
It
art
is
of
part of
conversation.
spontaneity. It's part of being spontaneous and
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah, the art of conversation, right? And
Yeah,
some of that's a problem. It's
And
I
talking.
agree.
Yeah, because some people will show up on a date and they'll still be on their phone, like they're not with
yeah,
the person they're
they're not
talking.
present. They're not present,
They're
right?
still
At
on the
all,
phone.
yeah.
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 I went to school in China, and
Wow.
you did not
Wow.
need a shot when you to go to school in China. I did part of my master's in Shenyang. Yes,
Oh,
I like Asian culture.
you like spicy food?
I cook spicy food. My favorite food is Indian.
Do you
Um,
like the ching chong spicy? That kind of spicy?
Asian, yeah, sure.
Huh? No,
I cook it.
no, no,
I
no,
learned
no,
how to
no.
cook it.
I'm talking about that city in China called Chongqing. That's known for
Chongqing,
its.
I haven't been there, but I've been to a city that has great food like it, and it's called
Mhm.
Xi'an. It used to be known as Peking, where Peking duck comes from. It's also
Oh
where
wow.
the terracotta soldiers are
Oh
in
okay.
Xi'an, and
Mm.
that was where the Silk Roads met. So they have
Mm.
Muslims, Christians, Buddhists. They have all religions, all spices in that part of China. So the
Wow.
food is incredible in
Yeah.
that part of
But
China.
you like spicy? You like super spicy or what?
Love spicy, but there's a level to that. Like there's habanero spicy, and then there's red chili flake spicy. So what can you
Mm.
tolerate? And some spicy is just too spicy because it kills the flavor, and you don't taste anything.
Yeah,
Mm.
that
So
I
and
It's like battery acid. Yeah.
yeah. I
Battery
mean, I'm
acid.
Caribbean too, so we like spicy in the Caribbean.
yeah.
I like spicy. I'm about in Mexico, pretty much.
Oh,
Mm.
Mexican food is
This is
spicy in LA.
amazing. I love
There's
it. I love
LA
it.
has wonderful, wonderful restaurants, and so does New York, actually.
So does
But
Tucson.
yeah,
Tucson was the first city of gastronomy, I think, in the United States. We have really good food here.
wow, Tucson is fantastic. Tucson's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
Where are you, Belize? Where are you?
Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, Vancouver and You're with the Canadians. No
Mhm.
wonder she's so nice. The Canadians, our neighbors, are so nice.
You
You
think they're too,
guys,
what do you think of the Canadians? So you immigrated to Canada? You immigrated from
yeah,
Rwanda? What do you, so
yeah.
tell us about the whole immigration, what you think, what do you think of Canada? Tell us it all. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so when I came here, I came to study, and then after school, I stayed. And yeah, Canadians are really what the reputation is like nice and, and saying sorry a lot and opening the door for you. And you're like, sometimes you have to run because someone will open the door for you and you're
Yes.
so far away. And you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. But you're running. You're like, that was unnecessary.
Yep.
You
Yep.
could have just shut the door. Now you're putting me, the pressure. So
But
it's,
that's great. So you have polite guys in Vancouver to date,
yeah.
right?
Or you'll be like walking on the street. Oh, no, 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 no. I missed that. Sorry.
And the
Don't
goodbye, the goodbyes take forever. The goodbyes take forever too sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When they saying goodbye, they're going forever and ever.
Sounds like a Latino get together. The goodbyes take forever too. If you go to a
Really?
Latin family, if you're in a Latino party, you're saying goodbyes for like 3 hours, and you never
yeah.
leave. You're still eating.
Yeah.
That's the same with the African culture.
Yeah.
Or like when we were kids, we would walk back and forth, like, oh, I'll walk you home. I'll walk you home. I'll walk you home.
I remember that.
And coming
With
back
certain
to,
friends.
when we're talking about Asian culture, like for example, like I watch a lot of Korean drama, and I love like the Korean culture because I think it's very similar and close to the African culture, and I see that
Really?
like
In what way? In what way? Just like saying goodbye or what else? What else
no,
do you see
not
the
that.
similar?
I like not taking life too seriously. Like I feel like adding humor and stuff, and also I like how they don't um like here, for example, like you're in your 20s, it's like, oh my God, you're so old. But like Koreans, it's like you're
Dude,
40.
you're older
You're
20.
only 40. You are a baby. And I'm
Mm.
like, yes, that's right. Like I resonate more with that, or
These are
stuff like that.
Koreans or all Asians? You're saying Koreans?
Uh, Mostly like I think Koreans when it comes to
Uh,
age. I'm not sure if that is,
uh,
with the other cultures, but I also like
mm.
how, they joke around and they can
Koreans
get
are cool.
close. There's no
Mm.
bound space, you can hug your friends, you can get close, and all of
Yeah.
that, joking around, and yeah, and
That's
how they
me.
love
I'm
food.
Korean. I didn't even realize it. It's so interesting getting your perspective, you both of you, about Asian culture. Makes me feel really good.
And
I mean,
the
Because
fact that they love
The Asian
food,
culture is similar to
they
Latino
enjoy
in
the
that they're
food and
family.
eating.
Yeah, they
mm,
eat all the food and also super family oriented.
Yes.
Life centers around the family. That's very Latino as well. When I
mm.
was in China, I found so many similarities. I mean, first of all, my mom was a huge Bruce Lee fan, so I grew up watching Bruce Lee. And she went to college in New York, and her three best friends in college were Chinese. So I was already around them and
Oh
listening.
wow!
So I was already in their homes eating with chopsticks by the time I was 4. So it was second nature
Wow!
to me. So going to China wasn't so weird for me.
Yeah,
And
because
learning
you're from
Mandarin.
New York. You're from New York. We don't find that
Yeah.
kind of stuff where we can travel anywhere. Nothing's weird.
Yeah, it's so normal, and learning
Yeah.
Mandarin and just practice. I mean, Mandarin works better when you're drinking beer. It flows easier. That's for sure. It flows a
Yeah.
lot faster. But I feel that the Asian culture is so similar. And that's a broad stroke. There's so many countries within that
Yeah.
word. But
Yeah.
there's some, one thing is beautiful about travel. You realize that we have more in common than things
Yeah.
that separate us. People are
Yeah. That
people. They want to put food on the table for their kids. They want their kids to do better than them. They want a roof over their head. They want to have a simple, happy life. People are people,
Mm,
and that's the beauty. That's what you learn when you travel. I've
mm,
been to Africa as well, and certain countries. I've been to Morocco and a few other countries, and I noticed the same thing when I went to the continent of Africa and South America. The same thing. People are people. And
Yeah.
mm,
and you know what? We all have one thing in common. People love music and love food, and they love
Yes.
to talk about their kids.
mm,
Yeah.
And anywhere you go, if you can relate on a human level, everyone opens their doors to you and wants to share their culture and their love of life with you. And I find that so fascinating. As a filmmaker, I'm always watching because I'm learning and I'm absorbing and I'm writing in my head what I enjoy, and I pick up little nuances from these different
mm.
countries. And also going back to the dating, you see how different dating is in each country and what's
Oh,
acceptable there and what's not acceptable here,
so
and vice versa.
tell us some interesting things you learned. Give us an example of where it
Uh,
was interesting dating. Yeah, yeah.
just to generalize, in South America and the Latino countries, men are really, really, really good at just being gentlemen and opening the doors and making you fall in love with them with their words. They know exactly what to say,
Wow.
and they know how to wine and dine a girl. They're really, really amazing that way. It's just in our culture to be very amorous, I guess. um,
Amorous.
for lack of a
Uh-huh.
better word. But
Uh-huh.
in China, people are so shy, and dating is way more difficult. Way more, things are not appropriate. And as an American, you can't go to certain countries and be so forward as an American woman
Mm.
because you come across as super aggressive, and men like to be the one to make the first step. And if you're um you can't ask a guy out in China because they look at you like, what? It's just a weird thing. They have to ask you out. It's just someone says Latinos more persistent. Yes, Latinos are more persistent, Karina says. um
Is that
they,
true? Yeah.
yes.
Mm.
Not, I don't want to everyone's like that, but it definitely more persistent. And Latino, they if a guy wants you, they will definitely chase you and date you until they won't take no for an answer right away. Whereas in other parts of the world, I feel that if you say no, I'm not really into it, I don't want to date you, that's it. Drops. No more interest. A Latino will see like challenge accepted.
They'll be like, that's a maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So you're
So
saying
so
there's a
there's
chance?
differences.
That's
There's
it.
right, exactly. I
She
said
just said I
no.
need to try harder.
Right. Mama doesn't like quitters.
Man, we're on a roll. I'm gonna make a video of this. I gotta track all these things.
Playing
I'm
hard
gonna
to
have so
get
many of
because
them.
she said she was married. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
African men are like that too. They don't take no for an answer, except they're not as romantic as
Mm.
Hispanics.
Mm.
Oh my God. You know, one of the countries that has the most romantic men in the world?
Who?
Colombia. Colombia.
Colombia?
Oh yeah?
Wow.
What?
Most
Holy.
romantic.
Oh.
What?
The Colombian men from Medellin or Cali, these are
Uh-huh.
two cities that I go to a lot, super romantic. They'll tell you things like, oh, mamacita, I've never seen a flower so beautiful as you in
Ooh.
Spanish. I mean, they lay it on thick.
They'll like serenade you and everything,
They
like
will. I mean, it's
flowers.
a thing. They're writing
Oh,
poetry
damn.
as they talk to you. It's
Damn, how you
kind of
gonna compete,
intense.
Brandon? Brandon, you can compete with that? You can compete with the Colombians or what, Brandon?
And I'm
No,
not
I don't know.
Colombian, so I'm not biased when
Yeah.
I say this.
Hmm.
I yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Let me ask both of you
Brandon's like, I have
guys.
a girlfriend. I don't need to compete.
That
He's
girlfriend.
like, I don't need to worry about that. I have a girlfriend.
Belize and Maria, really, let's get back to dating here. But I'm wondering, really, this is because both of you guys are very deep, very intelligent, very fun. I'm loving your both of your vibes a lot. Like, so women like you, what is attractive to you? Like the ideal man. Describe the ideal man for me.
You wanna go first, Maria?
Oh boy,
You-
I'm so excited to hear this. Yeah.
I'm
What is
laughing
that?
because the first thing I thought of is what they do in China. The men carry their girlfriends' purses.
You know
Oh
And I
what?
my
said,
God.
Every
and I
time
said,
we
and
have,
I said, why don't
Wow.
American men do this?
I
Why do they
love
carry
that.
my big
See,
ass purse?
I love that so much. See,
Oh
that's
my God.
why
I do
I
that. I do that. I have to confess, I do that.
see,
I'm
cause you
Korean.
That's a
Korean,
plus.
you Korean. I watch. That's why I watch Korean drama, cause I'm like, I want a guy to treat me like this.
Well, yeah, you know
It's
what?
so
Asian
like,
men will cook for you, carry your purse, and I've seen it in China. Get down and tie the girl's sneaker for her. I've seen
I've
it.
done that. I've done that. I've done
yeah.
that too.
That, that,
Yeah.
like, that
I
men,
thought that was
Latino men.
normal. I thought this was normal. No, it's not
No,
No,
normal.
that's not
no, 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 no,
normal.
no. Brandon,
That's
is that
like
normal?
Brandon,
that's
that isn't
mainly
that normal?
Asian, you know. And
What?
sometimes I don't know because most
Carrying
of the time,
a girl's purse, tying her sneakers for her, cooking for her.
I mean, a lot of married men might do some of that stuff, but
Might,
But
probably
single men,
might,
no. Single men,
capital
no.
might.
if they're like being performative, maybe.
No,
Oh
but this,
wow.
but
Wow,
Ooh,
he
it
thinks he's being
does.
performative.
performative. You know, but though that's something to explore. I've always been like that. I'm the like the classical Korean man, and I'm like wondering now because I have this awareness, like, what happened in my childhood to make me like this? No, I mean,
Hmm.
let's analyze that. Is that a
But
good thing, bad
it's
thing?
a
I'm just
good,
like,
it's
you
a good
sure?
thing though.
But Brandon is making fun of me. He's saying it's not a good thing. You said it's performative, Brandon. Brandon, you said it's perform.
I was laughing at what
It's
Cisco
not
said.
performative,
Simp
but also
behavior.
it's kind of
Mm,
like
Simp
it's
yeah,
also
behavior.
kind of it's
a little bit.
Hey, Belyz, people are calling me simps. Help me because you said that's a good quality. Everybody's calling me a simp
It is a
right
good
now.
no,
quality. It's a great quality. I
it's
agree with Belize.
amazing. Bring back
I agree with
chivalry,
you.
like it's amazing. But the
I
only time
concur.
you get really confused is because like I dated a guy like he opened doors, he was so like, taking off my jacket and everything. But that's
Oh,
all he knew. Emotional intelligence, zero. Emotionally unavailable. And I was like, I thought it goes
Mm.
hand in hand. Like if you're that, paying attention to that and in tune, I would think that you also like working on actually trying to understand how
no, no,
someone
but they
feels
were just trained. That's the thing. It's separate.
to
It's separate.
connect. Exactly. So that kind of threw me off because I'm like, it must go hand in hand. Like you're thoughtful in
Yes.
action, but also you gotta be thoughtful up here. You're trying to, connect with me emotionally on a deeper level. And, going back to what you were asking, what an ideal man is a man that's emotionally intelligent and emotionally
Mm.
available. A man that
That
will
you said a
and have like,
mouthful. She's 100. Belize. That's
Emotionally
100%.
intelligent, those are the two big things. Emotionally intelligent, emotionally available.
Yeah.
yes, because you also have some
Oh,
men that are
that's good.
emotionally intelligent, but they're not emotionally mature and they're not emotionally available. And again, it's so confusing because you're like, they get it,
Hmm.
but they're not practicing it. And you're like,
Hmm.
what? What is going on? They understand the patterns, they understand the psychology, they know, you can have this deep conversation with them. But then it comes to them showing up for you and they fail.
Hmm.
Mm. Ah,
Oh,
see, this is why you were talking in your guide that you've had deep conversations,
yeah,
but then
but
whatever,
there's
no
no follow
consistency,
through. Yeah, there's
no
no
follow through.
consistency, there's no follow through. Yeah. So you have to not only be emotionally intelligent but also emotionally mature, which means the consistency that goes with it and putting
And
that
why
in
do you think? Why do you think they're not consistent then? In the case that they're not consistent, why? Why they had this deep conversation? Because it's not that easy to have a deep conversation. I'm the Vibe Samurai. I do these Vibe sessions. It's not that easy, really. Like in real life,
right.
I mean, I have better conversations online with you people than a lot of people I do in real life, right? So, what do you
Yeah.
think is going on there?
I think
That's
I want to. I think it's. I want to say it's the openness to it, the
yeah.
desire, and a little bit of the fearlessness, because
Hmm.
fear holds us back, because
Mm,
it is intimidating to open yourself up to someone,
yeah.
and then you, like we were saying earlier, you don't want to trauma dump, you don't want to dump all this crap over someone, but you also want to get to know them, and you want to be sincere, and you want to have deep, meaningful conversations, and also there's fear of, am I boring this person? Am I
Yeah.
Hmm.
boring them? Am I going too deep too quick? Are they more interested in how the Knicks did? Are they more interested in the latest soccer team than what I'm talking about? So there's all this fear and doubt, and I think to what, kind of bringing it back full circle to what we were saying earlier about our childhood, those childhood fears also come into play. And I
Yeah.
think
But
Mm.
to kind of play devil's advocate, because I'm not about just dumping on men and men are this and men are that. No, I feel that some men are emotionally adept and capable, and some others aren't, and just finding the person who is and that you have chemistry with. That's where it becomes tricky, because
Yeah,
you can find great things about one person and then the other stuff you want the other another guy has. So you try to find as many things you like in one person,
yeah, and
and I
not
think
only
that's the
that, it's
challenge.
like, yeah, this fear of responsibility or like letting someone down. Like, for example, I dated this guy, like he was emotionally intelligent and understood the pattern, but also like had avoidant tendencies. So that fear of letting go and allowing someone else, control and, becoming kind of dependent on them, you know,
Mm,
and
yeah.
so opening up, it's like you know what's happening, but you still don't want to like fully open up and allow, you know, the connection to grow
Mm.
because you don't want to be fully seen. You're thinking that maybe eventually you will disappoint that person. Or if once they get to really know who you are, they won't like you and stuff like that. And yeah, and that
Mm.
becomes a blockage.
Mm. Guys,
And
so there's a
maybe fear of them disappointing you. There's
Exactly.
fear is the thing that kills everything,
mm,
honestly.
mm,
Fear.
mm,
Paralyzing.
mm.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a pinned comment here. Many men can have them about others. They can't have them when it's about themselves, where it requires accountability on their part.
Accountability, that's a big one. Yeah.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
That is? Wow,
It
tell me
is.
Yeah.
more. Both of you guys.
Accountability is a
Uh-huh,
big
uh-huh.
one.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
because now you have to answer. Now you have to stand up as the guy you said you are and you show up that way consistently. And you have someone like having to look, to look up to you and be like, and you're like, oh my God, I don't think I can do that. Right?
Mm,
That's
mm,
too much work. That's uncomfortable. Um, I don't want to be responsible. That responsibility is too much right now.
mm,
Capacity is a big one. You might just not have that capacity in that moment to
mm,
hold, you know, so much depth, you know, even though you are aware, but you don't have the capacity to really get deep on a consistent basis, which is like every day with a person, for long term.
mm,
Yes, I agree with you
Yeah.
on accountability and on consistency.
mm,
And accountability means a lot of things to different people. So I still think it comes back to bringing your most authentic self to any situation, any relationship.
mm,
Um, and accountability, I think, is part of being authentic,
mm.
because if you're not open and honest about who you are, and it's not about finger pointing or blaming anyone, it's just about what triggers you emotionally and what doesn't, and then being with someone who's mature enough to want to
Oh
discover
yeah.
that with you.
Right.
Mm, hmm.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm just wondering. So before we wrap up, we got to wrap up in 5 minutes. But what do you guys think? So. What do you think about the future of dating, love, romance? Are you guys positive, optimistic? What seriously? So why don't you everybody say something? Yeah, go ahead.
Mm. That's
I,
tough.
I, I think you should date the old fashioned way. I'm not into the apps thing.
No.
So, mm-mm.
Wow, you're not
That's
into the
actually
app.
a good one. Like, I feel the apps should be eliminated completely. Go back to the original old school dating where,
It's what
uh,
Brandon talked about, how the kids are not engaging and not talking. It's the same concept with dating. It's better
Mm,
to meet eye to eye and casual meet. If you're stuck to an app or to a machine, you're getting a version of that person. How authentic can you be if you can't even be spontaneous? You're swiping left or swiping right. What is
mm,
that? You're falling for an image and what they wrote down in 5 sentences.
yeah.
mm. And what about you, Belize? What do you have to say?
And ultimately, I feel like, single people have to work on themselves enough and be okay with ending up alone if they
Mm,
don't someone that aligns with them, and be okay with that, right?
Wow. What do you think about that, Brandon? Be okay with that? What do you think about the final message from Belyz? Or should you
Yeah, I
always
mean,
try? Is it, do we need to pair up, or is it truly okay to be alone? What do you think about that, Brandon? Because I feel like evolutionarily, we're driven to bond and be together and mate and all that
Yeah,
stuff. But
sure.
no,
I mean,
isn't
that's a
it
big
just
question. I don't want to go into my big tinfoil hat about that, but um, yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of compounding things that have like made younger men and older men at this point a little bit confused about like, so people have brought up, hey, we should go back to old fashioned, get rid of the apps, traditional maybe men approaching women on some level, right? But I think men are very confused, and for some of it's good reason, right? So they've gotten a
Mhm.
lot of mixed messaging, and I'm not dismissing creepy behavior or worse, but so I think just like me personally, I've felt this, and I've been affected by it. But it's like the messaging has been now for a long time is all men are creepy, all men are gross, all men objectify women. So just stay away from us. We'd rather be with a bear. I mean, we've all heard that stuff, right? So now men, right? So now men are kind of like, well, I don't know how to approach. I don't know if I'm going to be accused of being creepy or something like that. So okay, so there's that, and I think that coupled with technology making people less, the younger guys less able to have authentic wild interactions, and then like the dating apps and social media overinflating people's egos in ways and making people have different values of self-worth and distorting everything is kind of like all come
Mhm.
to a head, right? And I think like if we're say going forward, I think what I'm seeing is there's a lot of guys, at least in my sphere that I've seen, have just kind of dropped out of pursuing. And I think women are reflecting that too. There's a lot of women who are like, I don't know, like guys are their behavior's kind of changed, right? And so I think it's good because I think it'll force guys to take a look at themselves and then go be in solitude and grow, and become better versions of themselves. So I guess that's what I would hope in the future is a lot of guys go through self-searching, self-seeking, and just kind of really get down to figuring out who they are, and then build out versions of themselves, build themselves out to where that would change the dynamics, because then that would inherently make them more attractive if they did that, right? So, and then that would kind of flip everything.
All
Yes.
right, guys, that was an amazing vibe session number 3. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Everybody, follow everybody on stage.
Yep.
Belyz Simwaka was our special guest. You did amazing. Thank you so much for showing up.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, everyone that was on live. This was an amazing conversation.
Thank you
Awesome.
guys. It
All
was so
right,
much fun.
guys. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
everybody.